Hey, welcome back to this recap for the weekend. Looking at the weekly candle close, just kind of how price action is sitting, where we could possibly push back up to. We have broke some key levels that we were watching for the last couple days, and what we really were saying, what we depending on which way we're going to go and where the pressure is certain things that had to hold. Obviously, we got below that, so let's go ahead and take a look at some of the charts through the week, and then look at the kind of what's going on right now and where we're at, and then kind of looking for some areas that we could come down and see, just to again just kind of point them out. Doesn't mean we're necessarily going to go there. You do have to be careful about getting too bearish. Now, we could be in the crypto winter, right? You hear about a lot of people talking about that. Are we? I'm not. We may or may not be. Really, the whole point is that, again, look for structure, look at every single day, look for the opportunity. Whatever system that you're trading in, trade that. Don't let it. Don't miss out on it, if you will, just because something is going on or not going on. Do know your key levels, though. You do need to mark up your charts and know where things can go, and that way you know when things start to set up, you have targets that it could go down to, and you wouldn't be surprised if it gets there. The other thing is the other way. When price starts to go back up and rebuild, you know there's certain areas that it's going to have to kind of start to go through and rebuild, but then once it starts to get out of that, you'll kind of know where it's going to go on top of that as well. So anyways, let's go ahead and jump into the charts and start kind of taking a look at what's going on. I'm sitting on the weekly chart to start with. And you can see that this has been the push out of this area, the last strong run that we had up here. The other thing is, I'm going to go back a little further. This was the last double kind of high, the higher high to the lower high, and then we kind of ran way down, had this rough time through 2022 for a lot of people. Then we started to rebuild. Everybody got really excited. Then we kind of recapped right here, made this nice cup and handle kind of idea, and then we shot out of there. And now we're kind of where we're at right now, right? So that cup and handle depends on how you want to mark it up. Mine's trying to snap because I have the magnet on here. For a breakout, something like this. You can see it pretty much had ran up into that area just for a clean. Some people say cut it in half, but regardless, I'm just taking the top of the cup down to the bottom, and then kind of where the breakout is. You could move it down here. Kind of split hairs is really what I'm going after. Basically, that run did happen, and it did get where we needed to have, and it kind of panned out. So with that, there is some things to look at when you're going, okay, well, we know that area was the bottom. That could say that's the top. We could take a look at some. We could look at some of the actual Fibonacci, and let me go ahead and I'll mark. I'm just going to go straight up, but I'm going to line up with this top over here, right here, to get that same point. Now you might be wondering what's going on here. I'm going to go into the settings, and I'm going to change mine so we can take a look at it here. And change mine to, I don't want that one. It's just too busy. And that's just your standard halfway points. Yeah, so this will be kind of give us an idea. So I'm going to actually flip these around because this will be, I want the top, and this is the, or no, actually, let's leave it the way I had it. It'll be a lot more clear. So there is the run up from the bottom. And now you might say, well, where could this run back to? This is marking your Fibonacci levels for the whole macro uptrend that we just came out of. We ran all the way up. You can see right here when we came all the way back up originally, in the same area that we hit right here, that's basically where the halfway mark was, the 0.5, which a lot of times you'll see stuff retrace. You can see that's where I've already kind of marked these lines. So I marked this line right here, which is the dip back and then the run. And then here was the area here on the weekly. Now, this is what we're kind of looking for it to come back into. A lot of people say that we could come back into here and hit not a lot of people, but I'm starting to hear this. We could come back and see this 200 here on the weekly. Yeah, maybe. It might come and just rip down here and come all the way back up and close. those are areas that I'm going to start to watch for. This could start to find strength though, even where it's at. Right now, this has become, it closed down below this key area right through here, which is right around that 78,000 level. There's nothing, you never mark a level on a chart and say that's it. It's kind of more of a zone. So that's why I say around the 78,000 level. We're kind of sitting in that area right now. Now, we could push back up. So now that we have those levels and you can kind of see how I marked them out, let's zoom in on the current price action. You can see that we're kind of playing right around that area off this bottom. This could run back up though. I did mark the fixed range volume profile on this last week that we just closed here just a little bit ago, about a half hour or so ago. And you can see that it could run back up to the volume area low right here around 82,000. We have the point of control on that weekly candle though. A lot of it was up around that 88 to 90,000 still. So that's a lot of energy. We know that the weekly had played a lot. We talked about this before around that 87,000, right around there, 86.5, 87,000. That was a hard line in the sand that it played like that for a while, since really November 17th all the way till January 19th. So really about 2 months, and then we finally had lost it. We had a real hard drop last week, scared a lot of people. A lot of people are now saying this is the end, crypto winter. We got 2 years of this or so, and then we'll see us catch back up and break back above these areas. Maybe not. I mean, that's kind of going by the old standard of the asset. BTC behaves a lot different. You can see the structure. If you go back and analyze it, it has started to change that behavior. And history never repeats itself perfectly. It always rhymes. Things start to change. So we do need to keep that in mind. You can't just look back past the chart and just basically say this is what's going to happen in the future. If it was that easy, I would have already analyzed it that way and gave you exactly what was going to happen. It can set up and it'll kind of get that same behavior. But the other thing is I was looking back here. I'll go back real quick. You can see where it made a higher high originally, and then pulled back, and then made another higher high, made that the lower high, and then it stair stepped down really hard and had the crypto winter. Well, you kind of can see that same behavior right here, and then people are saying, well, that's it right here. And that's why we're going to just crash out and wreck. Maybe not. This could be coming back in. A lot of times, if you look back in BTC, it never actually, even when it retraces, it never takes out the original run up. So that means if this is going to do that, this will take out. If it runs all the way back down to this area, it's going to take out this last high from the last run up that we had. That means we're going to come down into that 58,000. Well, the high was around 65,000, 70, right around there. So it does show more strength here if we're going to behave the way the price action always has in BTC. So those are just areas that kind of keep in the back of your mind, pay attention to, think about, be careful on what you're doing, and don't get too freaked out. And remember that why did you buy? What are you doing? Are you buying to hold? What's your long game? All that kind of good stuff. And not to get too much into that, but yeah, if your idea was to buy and in 5 years from now you're wanting to do something with an retirement kind of mindset, then be careful with that, because that's a long time from now. Price action today really isn't going to matter as much for that. It could reset down in here and then run back up for always put some more dry power in when it's low, right? If it did come down in this area, there'd be a lot of aggressive buying, because that would be definitely a good price. So I'm definitely going to start watching this area right around that 70,000. I wouldn't even be shocked if it did wick down there. Now, if it started to break down below this, then I would start to be a little more. I am leaning more towards that bearish mentality. We did lose that 86,000. We do have to start kind of thinking that way. We could see a bounce back up and then break down. There is some key areas that we have to get above, which we've talked about already. So I'm going to go ahead and start going down through the time frames now that we've kind of looked at this on these levels, and kind of get an idea of what could happen. You could start trying to connect some dots here, if you will, some points, and put some lines in the sand. This could easily come back up, rip down through here. This could just break down, set back up, and then start to rebuild. Those are all areas to watch for. This is, like I said, a pretty solid area. This is also a pretty solid area. So this could be the breakdown that you're starting to see, possibly a bottoming. We're all going to be looking for that bottom in rotation, and we're going to have to go to the lower time frames to start seeing that happen. So if we go down to the daily, definitely bearish. If you look at it, it kind of retests the original breakdown and then fell out. But is it going to chase perfectly off the last major drawdown? Maybe, maybe not. If I was just going to be looking at it here, how far much further we could keep going, you could say, well, let's take this down through here, and this is going to be the next drop, which we're already in it, so that's going to run us down to that 50,000. That's kind of where that weekly line is in the sand with that 200. Yeah, okay, yeah, that's valid. But you could cut this in half. So if you took this same area and say, well, let's slice this in half, it's somewhere up in this area, right? And if you did that same thing, and you did the same breakdown right around this 86,000, that runs you down around that 64,000. So this could rip down, wick down in here. It could play down in here. This 0.5 does look like it could be a solid possible play here when you're looking at the daily. This could have been the last little pop here, and then we grind. Once we start getting back above these key levels, though, the 90, the 86, all these areas that we fought in, those are areas that we need to start building and flipping back over as support. Right now, they would definitely be ceilings on the rebuild. Those are also rejection points. So we basically tested, broke through. Could this back up and back test right here, and then we could see a bigger fall? Yeah, the weekly, monthly could be the stronger runs right now, because the daily has lost its strength. So is obviously the other time frames on down. The weekly is still neutral because you have the 200 still coming up against it, and you have the 21 coming down on it. So yeah, I mean, that's definitely neutral in my eyes, because if you're fighting between these two lines, so if I was going to be looking at a bigger potential, yeah, it's one of these sides is going to start to come and get underneath price action. Either the 200 is going to come up and start getting into the price action and lose it, and then you're going to go kind of weekly bearish now as well. Or you're going to start seeing the 200 start becoming push strength on this over the next couple weeks, and we could start to even push on up in here. So this could play around in this area again, just like it played around here. We'll have to watch and see kind of how it works with those lines. So going down to the 4 hour, right now it is showing that we could be in a reversal. We did get exhausted here on RSI. So we could see somewhat of a reversal and push back up into this higher time frame. We'll have to watch. Here is, you can see the lines a lot clearer because I'm not on the weekly. I'm in the 4 hour. 4 hour does tie into the weekly typically, so you can see how the current volume area low is, the point of control, and the volume area high. Just look how the price action reacted in the 4 hour. Right, it came up, rejected in this area. This is where it sat pretty solid for that week, was right around this 88,000 area. That's why that point of control is sitting there. We ran down and then bounced right in this area of around the 82,000, and then had a back trace and then broke. So this could come back up and test this area that it originally was testing around the 82,000. We could see that. This could just bleed on down here and break down and head down into that 70 to 71,000, and then start to regrind, and you could even in the week back up into this area. We'll just have to see it, how things play. That's where you're at right now. You're in that zone of the weekly kind of is the control of the overall charts, because the daily, like I was pointing out, is underneath its 21. It's underneath the 200. Those are simple, quick ways to look at price action. So they're definitely bearish. Right now, the 4 hour is definitely bearish. The 1 hour right now is playing with its 21. So if you're just looking at it and you look at price action right now, it's been playing in this area and it's been bearish. It tried to come back up during Sunday and got rejected and pushed down. It didn't really break down hard, but we'll have to kind of see how things work. Now, if it starts to get back above and regrind, we could come back up. You are in the neutral zone. If it gets up here, though, we really need to start getting above the moving averages. You saw, if you go back in time, when it starts to grind back up through there, it starts to push back up. As of right now, you can see how it keeps trying to hit it and it grinds down. Try to get above it, snaps down. But when it gets above it, even on we were in a down play when I'm going back in time, we're still in a bear macro or micro bear pullback, which could be getting close to flipping to the more of the macro bear pullback on a bigger cycle, if you will. Obviously, if you go way further out in years out, then it's still a macro bull run. But anyhow, you can see when it starts to actually get above this, it held strength. It's been weak as it pushed up, though. It's not like you see here these hard snap downs on this run. So it is the 200 and the 21. That's kind of why we use it. So even here, you're looking at January 1st when it kind of ran up and even started to come back. That's 6 days worth of that's a whole week's movement right here of pushing out. Same thing when it got above and started to push. You're looking at January 13th, kind of pushed all the way back up to the 15th. There's 2 or 3 days. That's half the week right through here on a run up. So kind of the same thing when it starts to break down and fall. Really, we just need to start getting it back above those. Always a good way to look at it for strength. So, and one thing I will stick to, and I will bring it out again, the 21 or 22 hour is a key level or key chart to watch for, and kind of seeing how it's going to play. Now this is exhausted as well, and we could see this starting to push back up. Now I want to get it above its 21 and then grind above its 200. Typically when you see that, if you do go back and look at price action and on Bitcoin, when that happens, a lot of times the daily and stuff will start to follow suit, and a lot of times you'll start to see it break through. You can see right here, we talked about this before, it came all the way up, and we were looking for this to break above and start showing strength, and we could start getting excited for more of a bullish behavior, and it got rejected. So this was a classic breakdown. And the reason why I'm pointing all this out and kind of spend a little bit more time on this is definitely for the week recap, but it's also to train your eye to be paying attention. And this is why you want to go out to the bigger time frames and be watching this, because this could have been a lot clearer trade for you, and you could have just got in and looked for those lower levels. It also helps you when you are trading in throughout the week and looking for shorter term time frame trades. This behavior right here on this rejection, you could have easily saw this fallout here from Sunday night into Monday, and then all the way, this started traded all the way down into Tuesday. Was a nice little drop here that you could have taken advantage of, because price action set up during that time, and you would already known the higher time frames are putting pressure on the charts. So going into the 15-minute here and looking at the kind of the price action for the week, let's kind of zoom out a little bit and spend a little bit of time in this. But here is the Sunday close, and then we kind of started to trade up like we were going to possibly grind out through here, and then we just lost it. You're kind of looking at that same behavior again, right, like we saw here, and it started to break on down. Again, like I'm saying right now, I'm really watching for this 78,000 to start being recovered and show that we can start pushing back up. And then I'm going to be looking for that 82,000 to see if we could get through that grind. And then we'd be shooting up to that 90 or so thousand, and so on and so forth as we regrind back up through there. If you didn't want to look at levels, again, you could look at the 200 on the 1 hour. That's at 85,000. The 4 hour right now is sitting up here at basically 90,000. So those are just areas why it's kind of amazing how the moving averages kind of sit where price action constantly is playing, and there's a support and resistance. So Friday we kind of came in, and we're still sitting up at this key level on coming out at the end of the week. Saturday did a nice nasty dump. It definitely told us that in the morning that it was going to do that. If you're watching the price action, the same system that we use, that was definitely telling you what was going to happen there. You did a hard fall, and then Sunday grinded, and then now we are really just sitting on a fresh week and watching the key levels. So it definitely grinded, had a hard time around that 79,000, right underneath that 80,000. The reason why I'm pointing this out is because of prior history from the weekly candle. Did show some resistance right around this 78,300, 400 range. But yeah, so this was definitely your trade on the charts here. I don't have it marked out really to just kind of show you, but this is the session start here in the morning at 7:30. This is when price action was setting up. Right here, actually, where the pointing or the volume area low is on the weekly. This is also where the breakdown area was. If you're looking at the 15-minute candles, so if you looked at the 8:45, 8:30 to 8:45 candle, that's right here. So this actually gave you a pretty good setup for the grinding for it to break down. This is an area that you could easily mark on your chart yourself. This would have been the trade that you would have been looking for. So you're looking for this to start to break down. If you go into the 5-minute on this price action, if we're just going to go back and look at the Saturday, you can see that this is when you got the close below on a price action, and you could have taken the short down through here. Stop would have been back up on above this area right here on the original break from the morning, and because that would have been your 30-minute. It was right here. So you had been looking at getting in. This close right here is when you would get on, or you could have got in on this close for safety. This is about where you would have put your stop, and then you would have ran this on down. You probably were looking around 78,000, so that was probably about the healthy drop that you would have been looking for this to be set up for Saturday. So. And now, like I said, now we're kind of sitting back in that same zone. We're testing it. The 5-minute right now is playing kind of like the same thing I was pointing out on the higher time frames. Let's see if we can start to get above this area and maybe get a little bit of rebuild. I'd just say start being careful because there is key areas that it could easily reject into. And it does look like the 70 to 71,000 roughly is calling its name, maybe even 75,000. Could be calling its name here. So for price action, could be seeking there after the little bounce here as we get going. So be careful on Monday, be careful on definitely Sunday night here. Always when you close a candle, be careful. There's a lot of opportunity if it's set up. There's opportunity in Sunday into Monday morning price action. But I just say be careful because right now price action is already kind of done its thing. A lot of times that's when it's setting up is when it's getting ready to do it, which we had last week. Now we're already kind of past that. So now it's showing more possibly bottoming, choppy, and whipsaw. So really you want to make sure it's confirmed before you jump in. So be careful this week. We could see a lot of energy. And we're really watching for it to get back above the 82 to 86,000, or we're looking to head on down and start playing with that 75 to that 70,000 range for us. So those are some areas to pay attention to and help you out throughout your week. So I know it's a little bit longer video. Hopefully I went through some stuff, kind of pointed out some things for you, help you kind of set up some of your charts and take a look at things and gave you some key levels to kind of watch for. But we'll see you guys in this week's recaps, and definitely pay attention to the live, and we'll be watching price action with you. Like and subscribe, ask me questions if you need to in the comments, and we'll talk to you guys soon. Thank you.